Starting off this video here, we're going to be installing a GPS fish finder, depth finder on a 2019 Seadoo GTI SE 130. Pretty similar to a lot of the models out there for the last few years. I got a Lowrance Hook2 5, one of the better ones with preloaded maps. So if you're looking for better mapping on the lakes, this is the one for you. Garmin also has one that's similar for right around the similar price. They're right around $330. It's a Transit. We're going to mount this on the back. I'm going to try to do that without drilling any holes. Try to use some of the pre-existing holes and maybe a bracket, so we're not drilling through the brand new hull here. This is the factory bracket. It's pretty big and bulky. I couldn't find a really good spot to mount this. I want to mount it like the Fish Pro has it. They have it right on this right mirror. Obviously that doesn't look good. So I stumbled across this on the internet. They're called StarPort RAILBLAZA. They make this. It's for fishing rods, a whole bunch of different things. It's actually slimmer than that. This piece is going to go underneath. Oh, it should look pretty factory when I'm done. I'm going to have to drill a small hole, about an inch hole, maybe inch and a quarter hole up there. And then of course I had to buy the attachment, which is for my fish finder. I just would zoom in. That's the attachment, which is way slimmer. So it should bring this down pretty slim here. Should look almost factory. So I'm gonna get started here. I started here. There's 5 screws that hold this front plastic clip on. 2 on each side and 1 in the middle. I pulled this up so I can reach in there. I'm gonna take the whole thing off, but just so I can hold the bolts and possibly run wires. And we'll get back to you in a minute when I get to my next step. Thanks. Okay, got my hole drilled for that. It's pretty good, pretty flush. I gotta put a couple nuts and bolts to hold it into place. But overall, I think it doesn't look too tacky, even if you're driving without your fish finder on there, or you sell it and you want to keep your fish finder off, or keep it for your next machine. Should look pretty factory. Didn't alter it too bad. Okay, got her mounted. That's a little protective cover on it. There she is. Adjustable. It'll obviously be a little bit tighter once I put the screws back in the mirror. But I wanted to show you guys how I'm running this wire. I drilled a small hole here, and I found a lot of these on Amazon. This came with my other fish finder, but that's going to go there to beautify that up. Get it focused here. But before I screwed this closed, I just wanted to show you. I drilled a small hole here, which right below here is a factory hole for wires. If you see this right here, I'll see if I can show you that. That sticks up in the hole. I'm gonna run the wires through there, and that way it's pretty much not watertight, but it's factory, so we're not drilling any extra holes that we don't need. Alright, we got her mounted. We got the wire ran into the hull. Just gotta hook the transducer, and we gotta hook it to the battery. But I just wanted to give you guys like a little sneak peek of it. I think it looks pretty factory, as close as you could get. And you don't lose your mirror, unlike the Fish Pro where you're losing that whole mirror. There she is. Can be easily taken off. All you have to do is pull these 2 wires off, Okay. And then with this particular mount, all you do is push that. The whole unit comes off. And there she is. Okay. So for storage or whatnot, she's ready to go. Just as easily put it back on. Now there's other attachments that you can use this for. They have fishing rod holders, cup holders, a whole bunch of attachments for this particular mount. I don't know if you'd, I guess you could put a fishing pole on here if you wanted. It's a multi-use mount. We'll put it back. And you just push this button here, locks her in, and then you plug the wires back in. The only thing I didn't like about this particular model was the way you line this up. You really got to push hard for that to go in. So it works, but I wish it was a little bit easier. But I guess that's to make it watertight. Alright, we'll see you in the next clip. We'll be mounting the transducer. Alright, we're back. Today we're going to mount the transducer on the back of the hull here. I decided that I didn't want to drill through this just because it's a brand new machine. I only have a few hours on it. So I made this bracket out of stainless steel. I'm assuming you can make this out of ABS plastic or whatever you'd want. ABS might be a little bit easier to cut and work with, but basically I took the 3 bolts out of the step, which are these star bits. I believe it's a T20. You can also use an Allen wrench, and this is a 5/32. It seems to work. Especially for this bottom one, because you need a longer than you need thin and long to fit in there. And so basically what I'm going to do is use these 3 existing holes. This plate is going to go behind the step. I'm going to bolt the step back on, and then as you see here, I got a nut and bolt back there. I'm using these style heads, so they're recessed. See if we can get it to focus here. Well, that's what's holding that on, and I'll come back to us in a second. I'll show you how it looks when it's mounted. Alright, it's a little dark out here, but I do have the transducer mounted with my plate without drilling any holes for it in the hull. It's mounted to this plate, which is stainless steel, which goes behind the ladder bracket. I used the 3 existing holes and just bolted the ladder back on. Well, that seemed to work out great. Plus you can fold it up if you want it out of the way, you're not planning on using it, or you're traveling, it can get folded up. Now, what I wanted to show you is the tiny little hole I drilled up in here. I removed the corner bumper, which was 3 bolts, and I drilled a little hole. That is for the wire, and it's just big enough for this wire. And I'm also going to use some marine sealant around it, which I used behind those bolts after I pulled them off too, for the transducer plate that I made. So there's where the wire goes in. I picked this right side of the machine too. Was in the hull, there is nothing back there. There's no muffler, there's nothing. So we should be able to run this wire without any interference. Should be pretty easy. Now, as you can see, the hole's just big enough for the wire. Next part is wiring everything together. So we'll see you in my next video, and I'll show you the finished product in the daylight. Alright, thanks. Alright, we got just a short little clip on connecting the wires. I had cut the transducer wire so I could keep my holes small as possible. So that's this wire here with 4. Otherwise, you got to try to fish this through holes, and then you're gonna have to make huge holes. So I cut that. I found these to work best. These connectors are heat shrink connectors. There's a piece of solder in the middle, and basically you stick the wire in there and heat it up with your heat gun, and they're watertight. There's also butt connectors that you can get that you can crimp and then heat too. Both will work. Alright, after I connect all these wires, I'll show you the finished product. Okay, there she is. She's wired up, ready to go. I'm going to take her out for a spin in a few minutes. Try her out, but I just wanted to show you a few things on running the wire. I ran the wire. I use these stick-on clamps. You can run a zip tie through them. And I dabbed some marine grain sealant on them in case they try to vibrate loose ever. They look like this. You can run a zip tie right through them things. Pretty nice. Everything's out of the way. Alright. Let me show you where I tied in my connections here. Give me a second, I'm trying to balance on the... Alright. So, that's it. It's just a fused connector to the battery. Positive. Negative. One of these fuses is for my GPS, and the other one is for my cigarette lighter, which I'm gonna mount later. I'm gonna mount it somewhere in here. I haven't found the spot yet. That's to charge my shore radio, cell phone, whatever. Well, that's it. Let me show you a finished product. She is. Thanks for watching my video. Any questions, comment below. Well, we got the fish finder installed. Pretty cool mapping right here. I'm on Lake St. Clair, one of the Great Lakes. For all you that's not from Michigan. It's got some advanced mapping on it. If this is what you're looking for, we can also go to let's check it out. Maybe we can split screen it. And check out the sonar here. Looks like we might have some fish down there. We got water temp, miles per hour, depth. We're at about 9 feet where we're at right now. We can go to down scan. A little bit more advanced, I believe. Sonar. I'm still learning this thing. Go back to maps, charts. It's a little slow on loading up the mapping, but I mean, if you turn it on prior to you going out, it's fine. Alright, I'm gonna go have some fun on my ski. And we'll talk to you guys later.